Hey everyone, it's Carissa. Thanks for stopping by today. In this month's newsletter, I wanted to give you a look at Waffle Flower. Now, Waffle Flower is not a new stamp company, but it is new to the Ellen Hudson shop, and I thought you might enjoy a look at some of the stamps and dies that are available from this line. Now, if you haven't seen Waffle Flower before, I think you are going to fall in love. This stamp company has a vibe that's all their own. It's fun, it's funky, it's whimsical, it's bold. I mean, I just can't tell you without showing you, which is why I'm showing you all these pictures here. They just have this look that's all their own. Now, they do have some sentiments that are definitely more on the elegant side. And they also have dies that are kind of interactive. They're not just shapes, but they are used to create things like bags and rosettes. Now, for my project, I chose these little mermaids. I love them. If you know anything about me, I love mermaids. And when I saw this stamp set, I thought it combined perfectly with the new Essentials by Ellen Otterware stamp set. So I'm going to use these together to create a couple cards for you today. These are actually fairly easy cards. There's a little bit of Copic coloring involved, but I'm going to start out by stamping a couple of these, what I call mermonkeys, onto some Nina Solar White cardstock here. I'm using my Misty stamping tool here, my mini Misty, so that I can actually double stamp these. My Memento ink is a little bit on the drier side, and I like to double stamp when I'm Copic coloring so that I get a nice bold black outline. So you're going to see me ink this up, stamp it, and then I'm going to leave the paper in the exact same spot. I'm going to ink it up with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink once again and stamp it right back in place. Now, I've arranged these stamps on the bottom half of this cardstock. This is a quarter sheet of cardstock, so that I could just flip this over and stamp them again so that if I mess up, which I am known to do, I will have some extras on hand. Now, I didn't actually end up coloring these, but I have them stored with my stamp set for the next time that I want to use it. So I thought I'd give you a quick look at the Copic coloring. Now, I am no Copic coloring expert. I do pretty simple Copic coloring. I use 2 or 3 colors to blend, and you can see here that generally I'm just starting with the lighter color and then going to the darker color and then coming back with the lighter color once again to kind of blend that out. Now, for the tail, I'm going to actually cover these with some glitter because, you know, what is a mermaid without a little bit of sparkle? So I didn't do any blending on the tails. I just colored them with a aqua colored marker. Now, for the body of the mermonkey here, I am using a 3-color blending. So I'm using a light, a medium, and a dark. So you're going to see me color all over the area with the lightest, go in with the medium, add it here and there with some shadows. Then I'll go to the darkest marker and add the least amount of that because I want to keep this a little bit on the lighter side. And then to blend that medium and dark together a little bit better, I am using the tip to tip technique where I just take the medium marker and touch it to the tip of the darkest marker and kind of blend over that. And then I used my lightest marker to blend again. Now, like I said, I am no Copic expert. I try to keep it as simple as possible. And I think the key to Copic coloring is really practicing. I probably don't practice enough. So I kind of keep it basic for me, and that works. I'm fine with that. So once I have them all colored, I'm going to use the coordinating dies to cut them out, and I am going to use some of this Wow Sparkles glitter. Now, this is made by Wow Embossing Powder, but it is not an embossing powder. It is a glitter, and it shines like nothing you've ever seen before. And I thought it would be perfect on the bottom of these mermaid tails. So I've just colored or painted over the entire tail using my Zig 2-way glue pen. This is a ballpoint glue pen, and then I just dumped the glitter right over the top. And I am using the seahorse color of glitter for these mermaid tails today. Now, once I have those kind of set aside and drying, that glitter is kind of setting up, I am going to create a little backdrop for my mermonkeys. And I am using this brush stroke stamp set from Tim Holtz. It has these really cool like watercolor designs that you don't have to watercolor yourself. You can just stamp which I like because easy is always good for me. And so I'm stamping this down in some Mountain Mist ink from Altenew. Now this is a collection. Altenew makes their inks in like these 4-color sets. And this collection of inks here, they're like these tealy pool aqua colored blues with a little bit of green mixed in. Love them. They are like my new favorite inks. So I'm using those to stamp the various components of my scene here so that all the colors will blend nicely together. So I used the Mountain Mist for the background. I used the Lagoon for those darker waves, and then I'm going in and stamping some Mountain Mist waves as well. Now I grabbed this seaweed. This is from the Otterware stamp set, and I am stamping it in Emerald ink from Altenew. It's all a part of that same 4-color family collection of inks, and I stamped that on the side. And then I grabbed this other piece of seaweed. I don't know, sea greenery from the Otterware stamp set, and I just partially inked the top of this stamp and stamped it onto the bottom of the scene. And then I'm going to partially ink this stamp once again. This time I'm inking it a little bit further down so that it's a little taller. And I'm going to stamp it right alongside that one that I previously stamped. And I just kind of turn the stamp a little bit so that the angle's a little different. For my sentiment, I grabbed a couple of the sentiments from the Little Mermaids stamp set. This one says Perfect, and I wanted it to say you are perfect. So there's another sentiment in there that says you are Fintastic, which I'll use on my second card. And I only wanted the you are part of it. So I used a Post-it note to mask off the Fintastic word, and I just inked up the you are and then stamped that right above the Perfect. So you can see that stamped sentiment there. Now, what would be a Little Mermaid without a moving Little Mermaid? Now, I've always loved Action Wobbles, and so I thought it was awesome when they came out with these mini Action Wobbles. So awesome that I bought the 100-pack. And I am going to take the open part. So this is the top of the Action Wobble. I am going to adhere that onto the back of my Little Mermaid there. And then the more kind of solid piece that's thin plastic, that actually goes on the project. So you'll see that here. Now, before I adhere her down, I am going to add a little bit of glitter onto those waves, and I just traced over them using my Zig 2A ballpoint glue pen again. And then you can see me removing the backer from that thin plastic piece. It is a solid thin plastic piece, and that's the part that actually goes on your project. And then I'll position my little mermonkey right here on the side of that scene that I created. And I like to just give her a good little push down to make sure she's going to stay in place. And look at that. She's swimming all around. I love these Action Wobbles. They make for such a fun, interactive card, and I'm so happy that they come in this mini size now. You're going to see me use a lot of these. The other nice thing about the Action Wobbles is that it gives a little bit of dimension too. So what scene would be complete, what sea scene would be complete without a few bubbles? So I am using the Pretty Pink Posh clear droplets in the 4mm and 6mm size, and I prefer to use the glossy accents to put those on, so I'm doing that. Adding a little Spectrum Noir clear glitter overlay on my pearl there. And because this is a card front, not a card base, I decided to go ahead and stamp some waves down the side of my card base, which is made of some Nina 110-pound cardstock. Now, I didn't feel like the waves were showing enough. It wasn't a dense enough pattern. So I went ahead and grabbed this wallpaper background stamp from Hero Arts. I'm inking it up in the Mountain Mist ink, and then I'm going to stamp it on to my card base here. Now, I left the waves. I actually turned this inside out and I left the waves so that they would be on the inside of the card because I thought that would be really fun. And once I got my pattern all figured out here, I went ahead and adhered my card front onto the card base using some foam adhesive so that there was even more dimension. And then I opened it up and found out that my waves were on the top part of the inner card. Do you see that? Totally screwed it up. So I'm not going to redo it. I'm just going to add more waves and make it look like I did that on purpose. So I'm just grabbing that wave stamp again, and I'm just going to stamp them all the way down the inner right-hand side of that card base. And then the whole card base will be filled with some of these waves along the side, and you can write right over those. So that finishes off my first card. I'm going to move on to my second card using that other little mermonkey. I'm doing a lot of the same things for the scenery. This time I decided to try out this mountain lake. It is one of that 4-color collection or color family from Altenew. Love all of these. I have to tell you, they are some of the most beautiful ink colors ever. Love them. And then I am going to stamp some of these little starfish from the Otterware. I colored them with some bright Copic markers, and I didn't do any shading because they're so little. And I just fussy cut them out because I thought it was just easiest at that time. Now for the little crown on her head, because it was stamped in black ink, I couldn't really see it. So I took my little Dylusions paint pen in white and just traced right over those dots that were there. And then I added some of this Nouveau Drop glitter drops here onto the skirt of the tail, into the center of those starfish where the little hearts are. And then I also put it on the jewel of the crown of that mermonkey that's on the left-hand side. And then I traced over some of those lighter waves with that Nouveau glitter drops as well. So that completes my 2 cards for today featuring the Little Mermaid stamp set from Waffle Flower. I really hope you enjoyed this look at this line that is now available in the Ellen Hutson shop. I am so excited. As always, I will have links to all the featured products in the description at YouTube, but be sure you head on over to the In Touch blog, which is linked below, because I have more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies along with the Copic colors that I used over there. I hope you enjoyed these projects. All of these products are available for purchase at ellenhutson.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.